First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of April 16th and April 25th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
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 The meetings have been approved. Item number one on the agenda is Fiesta shows. We're going to continue that until next hearing in June. Item number two is Courtyard Donuts doing business as Dunkin' Donuts, 555 North Shore Road. Ken Frankel, manager. Application for alteration of premises for outside dining and change of hours. Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Michelle Lawler, 5 Rose Lane, Boxford, Mass.
Great. And can you tell us what exactly your plans are?
We're trying to add a small patio in front of the Dunkin' Donuts on North Shore Road. We have currently, right now, we have landscaping with some stepping stones, and it's the perfect spot to be able to add some extra seating. Customers have been asking, they want to sit outside there in the summer. And, you know, our plan is to put, you know, a nice wrought iron fence and some pavers and have it done really nice. And what were we looking for? About 12, maybe 3 tables of 4.
Okay. And I assume that's part of the property. I know that sounds like a crazy question.
It is. We've already gone into zoning, and they've approved, you know, they approved the plan that we had drawn up.
Can we take a look at that?
It's just, it's a sketch that.
That's fine.
But
just want to get an idea of what you're talking about.
Just an idea. So
Yeah.
If you want to show him, that's the.
this is the area of what that is, kind of.
Okay. And so where do you anticipate that seating to be in this area?
Yeah, right in that area there. All this will get taken out.
Oh, gotcha.
The tree will get taken out, so it'll be right in there.
Okay. Great. Okay. And then you're also applying for a change of hours from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. until 12 a.m.
Yes, so we've had, again, a lot of requests for people heading in or heading to the airport that we're not open early enough that they can't stop because we're not open till 5. And there's just so many early flights now.
Okay. Any questions?
I don't have any questions right now. I'd like to hear.
Okay. Do you have any questions on this one? Okay. First off, I'd like to ask if there's any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue. Hearing and seeing none, I'll ask if there's any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue. Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that out. I guess.
There's no opponents. I mean, I do have a couple of questions. This is the one by Bell Circle, the Dunkin' Donuts by Bell Circle.
No, it's
No,
the
this is
one
the one
where
on
the wharf.
I'm a little.
Over by the wharf.
No, I don't think this is the wharf. Is this the wharf 555?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that the address was 559. Okay. Because we have a few on the agenda today. But looking at this, you want to put seating outside here. Where is your parking going to be? You're just going to have that side?
Well, we have the side in the whole front of the loft is ours. That, you know, all those parking spots in the front of the loft, and the loft has, on facing the loft, the whole right side is their parking lot. In front of the loft is all our overflow. It's in our lease. Like, I mean, we have the front ones along the side, and then we have all the front in front of the loft.
So you lease that property in front of the loft?
Yes.
And then it goes...
So it goes for, we're not going to be removing any spaces, but we do have extra spaces. The spaces that are in front of the restaurant, adjacent to the road. That's all part of our lease space.
So there's one here, one there. So this is what it looks like. Here's the street, kind of, and it goes 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and then along over here by the wharf.
Okay.
It's like another...
Well, that was my concern. That's exactly what I was looking at. You're
Yeah.
going to have cars here, you're going to put tables. Yeah, we did... I think last year, did we have a problem with the parking there, something with the lot, with the cars in the parking lot?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, there's never been an accident at this location?
No.
I don't know, I'm concerned about the area. I'm just concerned about, I can see there is no residential in that area, which was one of my concerns. But the parking pulling in there, I mean, I go there quite often, to the Waffle, to Dunkin' Donuts. And the way the cars pull in there, I'm concerned with putting tables outside.
Well, we're going to have...
Are you going to have any barriers around?
Yes, we're putting a wrought iron fence around the entire area. So it'll be enclosed, and there'll only be one way in and one way out. So people aren't going to be able to just step off into the path of the drive-through. They have to come in and out. Like when you exit our store from the vestibule, that's going to be the only way into the seating area outside.
Yeah, there's only one way in and
One way
out, which is right where the doors are. So they won't be able to go into the street or into there or anything to that nature. But most of the people enter before the WAF parking lot, so when they're pulling in, they can see if there's any parking. If not, they can just pull in there. And then they exit through where the white truck is, right at that entrance, which is really the exit.
And where do the customers from the marina park?
The customers, he has even further parking way down, even beyond the WAF parking lot, the marina parking. So he has a huge parking lot down here.
Yes, I'm very familiar with
Yeah.
the location.
Yeah.
My concern, like I said, looking at these pictures, it's wide open, it's a piece of grass. Put tables there, I think there's going to be a problem. We really have to make that secure.
Yeah, and that's why, do you have the proposed, oh, actually, you know what, I'll show you what it's going to look like. I have a picture. This is up in North Reading. Why don't you show them that? That's what we're looking to do. So you can see so that's a similar location with the drive-through, and they've fenced it off. So people can't just step out where the cars are driving.
Okay, and what would this do with your time for deliveries now? You want to open an hour earlier?
We're just looking really the big thing is to open a little earlier there. People are waiting at 5 o'clock for us to open. They're pretty much knocking our doors down, waiting to get in there. I think just a lot of people are on the road a lot earlier now.
But what time do you have your deliveries right now to that location?
Our deliveries, I'm not
You don't
sure
have-
what time our deliveries
One in
are.
the afternoon type of thing.
Yeah.
You don't have any before you open?
Oh, no. Oh, maybe the donuts might be coming before we open.
Oh, yes.
So what time do they come now to deliver the donuts?
Now, maybe around, probably between like every two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 in the morning, something
Yeah.
to that nature.
Yeah, and that's just a small truck.
Yeah, it's a
Comes in.
small box truck.
Okay, I have no other questions.
So normally, my concern would have been the neighbors and the fact that this is out on North Shore Road. I'm not exactly all that concerned about although I find it surprising that the donuts come in at 1, 2, or 3 in the morning, but that's fine. But having said that, I'm not really concerned about the neighbors are commercial neighbors, so there's really nobody around that would have to worry about I'm not so much worried about the donuts being delivered as I am more the tractor-trailer trucks coming in with, Dunkin' Donuts goods and things like that. And I'm comfortable with the seating on the outside the building, to be quite honest. I was a little bit concerned about the traffic as well, but having said that, it's a nice area to be able to sit outside and have coffee, especially in the nicer weather.
And we have the blessing of the landlord and the restaurant. He was actually one of the first people to come to us to say, everyone's asking for this, can you look into it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I think the safety, the safety issue if your car pulls in, brakes go. As long as you have some sort of, these support beams here or.
It's actually going to be safer than it is, because right now a person can come out the front door and walk across that grass area and walk right into the drive-through where the cars are exiting the drive-through. So right now we're going to have a fence around there. Exactly. So it's actually going to make a whole area safer, to be perfectly
Yeah, I'm
honest.
just looking at this picture here, you know, kind of told that this spot has a few too many roadways.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'd be concerned
Yeah,
about.
we'll have those bollards there, you know, so,
But
at
that's
the
really
end of the parking spaces.
right. Otherwise, I think it's not a bad option.
Are there any other questions?
No one else have anything to add to this license in the audience? No?
Is there a motion on the
I
table?
have no, I have no other questions.
Motion to approve the extended hour, I guess hours, as well as the outside seating of 12 seats.
I would second that motion on the contingent upon the fencing and the safety barriers going up. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Your
Thank you.
application's been approved. Good luck. Item number 3 is RMG Donuts, doing business as Dunkin' Donuts, 1 Bennington Street. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get them out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Actually,
Unless you have
if you
on
could
file.
provide us with a copy of those things, that would be great.
I have problems at my office, thanks.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
These are all ours.
These are all yours, okay? I didn't realize that, okay. All right, so this is 1 Bennington Street. And there's an application to change hours from 5 a.m. to 24 hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
We might as well take them all
I'm gonna
at the
do
same
that.
time here. And then there's the courtyard, there's the Dunkin' Donuts at 90 American Legion Highway, and that is going from 5 a.m. until 11 to 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. So what is the rationale behind 24 hours at Bennington Street and the extra hour at,
So the same thing, so the extra hour on the American Legion Highway, that's the store right after the school, that's heading towards the airport. And that's another one where people seriously like waiting at that store to open to get their coffee on the way to the airport. And, you know, there's so many flights that, I mean, and again, it happened to me. I was heading in for an early morning flight at 4:30 and couldn't get a cup of coffee at my own store. So, you know, I'm saying, they said when they get there at 4:45, there's people parked in the parking lot waiting to get in. And if we could just open at 4 in the morning, just to get those people, or the truck drivers, or the ambulances, and the tow trucks, and, you know, the firefighters, to be able to, people to get that coffee early. That's the rationale at that location. And that's a direct route to the airport.
yeah, I'll be honest, I'm reluctant to do 24 hours only because of the...
So this location, we're looking at 4, that's for this one, and then,
90 American Legion Highway in the morning. In Beachmont, one
So,
Bennington, we want the 24.
That's right, so the
Yeah.
one on
That's a
Bennington.
different thing.
I understood, but I'm saying,
It's hours now.
what's that?
The T, the MTA
Right.
changed their hours now.
They did. Okay,
So we're discussing that one right now.
well, that's the next one up, that's why I figured.
She's going to do
Okay, so you want to, all right, so we'll do American Legion Highway. Okay. So again, that one impacts residents a little bit, and although I don't disagree, I mean, it's busy, a lot of people going to the airport and things like that, it's been there a while. I'm more concerned about deliveries of the bigger trucks coming in. I know in some cases on Squire Road, early in the morning, say around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, big tractor trailers roll in about then. There's a bunch of houses behind that. I'm living next to commercial space. I can feel their pain.
and that's not our store, so actually the manager of this 90 American Legion Highway lives on that back road behind the store. So we're very, cautious. We've changed the deliveries. They come in the afternoon so they don't wake up any, that big truck comes late in the afternoon. Just so we don't bother any of those residents. We've worked with those residents throughout the years, and they're all, very understanding. We have a great relationship with most of them. And honestly, my manager that works there comes in around 4:30 to start setting up. So they're there anyways, but, we've told them they're not allowed to serve customers until 5. So there's really not a big change because somebody's really in there early. We just want to be able to open the doors to serve people so they're not standing out there waiting.
Well, I think the big change is the neighborhoods with the cars going in and out. And I remember when this license was given, that was a big problem for the residents. Whether it's just cars or a truck pulling up, closing doors, and you live next to it, you're going to hear it. So I just would like to know if there's any opponents or any proponents, and see if, I think the ward council is,
Okay.
I don't know. And then my questions may be a little different.
Okay. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of the applicant? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of them?
I just would like to know what their issues are.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Howard Novoselsky, 53 DeHone Street, which is off Shirley Avenue. I'm the Ward 2 counselor. I know these aren't my districts, but in general, I have a problem with 24-hour operations in the city. I think it's going to create more crime, and especially at the Bennington Street location. It's right next to a T, and we've had several incidences down at the Revere Beach Station at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, where the perpetrators are coming off the train, jumping on the train, and the police can't catch them. And I know this has been a regular thing going on over the last 2 months down in my neighborhood. I'm just afraid that the 24 hours is only going to make this potentially worse down in the Beachmont area. But also, it's going to create a hangout. And I know there's a lot of the liveries have been looking for places to hang around at all hours, working there with telephones, hanging around there, and then moving on from those long-time locations. So that's the 24-hour one. The one on the American Legion Highway, I heard you mention the homes. I agree with you. And I know we're not trying to be anti-business, but we still have to respect the homeowners and the residences that live in those neighborhoods. And, I'm just afraid of that 4 a.m. and the 12 o'clock p.m. on the American Legion Highway, because that's right across the street from my neighborhoods. So I would have a problem with those two. I didn't have a problem with North Shore Road. There's no neighborhoods there, and wish them luck down there. But I have a problem with these two. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Great. So taking American Legion Highway first, I guess. I mean, I recognize that the manager lives behind the building. I just find that for myself, I find 4 a.m. is just too early in the morning. I think that it doesn't take much at that time of the morning. I mean, I live across the street from an ambulance company. I mean, I can hear them going in and out of there 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're not noisy. It's just, you can hear the doors, it's quiet, and if it was in your neighborhood, and I'm not sure you would appreciate it. So so I really can't say that I could support it, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm good. I get it coming down North Shore Road. I mean, it really isn't affecting anybody. Both of these places, and Councilor Novoselsky makes a great point in terms of, it's a place to hang out at the end of Shirley Ave, and I just find that I could probably agree with him on that. There was a time when that establishment was open. I don't know if it was open 24 hours, but it was open pretty late, wasn't it? Yeah.
So we're across the street. We're not.
No, I get it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just, I get that. All I'm saying is he makes a great point in that it's not that far. It's, people can hang around there because it's convenient and it's open. And so I'm reluctant to support that, to be quite honest. Anyway, that's my
No, so on the extending the hours, I think I'm okay with that. On American Legion Highway, I think, based on what you told us, you know, they're waiting 4:30, 4:45. You know, maybe you open at 4:30, if that's the case. You know, the half hour. I know the half hour might be insignificant, but if they're waiting there 4:45 to, I don't have a problem with that. And extending to midnight, I think things have changed. There's a lot more commerce going around the city, and it's growing. There's more people on the road. They want to grab a cup of coffee before they go into work at their 12 o'clock shift. Not a bad place to grab it. So I'm in favor of increasing the hours on that one.
On which one?
American Legion Highway?
So American Legion Highway, so you're okay with the hours of
I
4
am.
AM to 12?
Correct.
Okay.
And the 24-hour,
Was there a motion on the floor for the first one? I think I'll take them up separately.
Sure.
You're making a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the extended hours on American Legion Highway.
I'm going to make a motion to deny, to yours, to deny the motion.
Wow.
It's still highly residential.
We-
Is there a second on the-
Yeah, you know,
So-
again, we have, you know, you have the, people are there working anyway, and there's so many people just waiting, but they're there anyway. They're there in their cars, sitting in the driveway. And again, it's not a super busy location, but, you know, we're just trying to get those people heading for a 6 o'clock flight, and they can't because they're heading by there at 4:30, and we can't accommodate them.
No, I mean, I'm in the same boat myself.
I can appreciate that, but also I think our job here is to look at the city first.
Would
Work
adjusting it
for
to
the
4:30
city.
make a difference?
We, not on the WAF site, no, it doesn't.
No, I mean on the American Legion.
American Legion would make a difference. To the homeowner that's, you know, wants to
think it
sleep till 6 and go to work at 7.
Well, we're open at,
All
yeah,
right,
we
so-
open at 5 now anyway, so they're there at 5, opening at 5.
So I have a motion on the table at the moment to approve the 4 AM to 12, and I've got a motion on the table to keep the hours from 5 AM to 11 AM.
And
Go ahead.
I do have to take into consideration also, when a city council comes up and speaks about his area, and someone that's on the streets every day and watches what's going on, that means a lot to me. I weigh that very strongly because that's their job. Their job is to help us make decisions here, and hopefully they know what's going on in their surrounding areas. And I can tell you, Councilman Novoselsky made some good points. We really don't want it to be an all-night establishment, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I agree with you, the WAF, you know, I shouldn't say the WAF, Natural Road, you're not impacting anyone. Everyone's going to get their coffee and they're going to head on to the airport. But I have to respect the council and his views on it, and I think he's right. I really do. And it is highly residential. You know, you're running the business, you know what's there. And there have been complaints, you know, we can go back 2-3 years, and I guess since then there hasn't been, but
Yeah.
there hasn't been any since then.
I think because we hire everybody that lives there. Everybody that lives on that street that applies for a job, we hire them. We hire their children, we hire as many people, and it's easy for them to, you know, they're pretty much walking. We can't have them work even at another location. They all walk over in the morning to work. So it's easy for them to get there early to come into work.
Okay, I'm going to second the motion on the change of hours from 4 AM to 12 AM for American Legion Highway. Based on the fact that you've got the ball fields there, the traffic. Although I'm sympathetic to the residents on that, I think, you know, it's hopefully far enough away that it's not creating any issues, and if there are, I hope that they would come forward and let us know that so we could at least convey that message to you. So let's talk about, I'm seconding the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to be recorded as being opposed.
So it's been approved 2-1.
Thank you.
Okay. The issue of Bennington Street. I'm going to stand firm on that. There's been a lot of issues down in Beachmont Square, and I'm not going to support a change of hours at all. I think it should stay 5 to 11. Council makes a great point about the issue with people hopping on and off of trains, and it's been an area that's had problems in the past. So that's where I'm going to stand on that at this moment.
And the reason, of course, the reason we looked at that was with the change in the hours of the T being open till 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Where, there's people now coming off the train there, on and off the train, and, to have them have a place to come in and grab a coffee on their way home, and it's just, there's a lot of activity. And we find, we do operate, how many drive-through, how many 24 hours, Gary? Say 6 24-hour stores. In those stores, we have less crime than the other stores.
And where are they located?
East Boston, Somerville, Medford. So they're all in the area. And they it's Cambridge. Less crime because we're open. We don't have people breaking in or trying to break in and steal the money where there's somebody always on the premises working. So we have less crime in those stores.
Lieutenant Randall, do you have anything you could add to this, or your comments in terms of activity and what your thoughts are?
I wouldn't want to term Donnelly Square a high crime area, but it's a high volume of calls area. And in my opinion, I guess it would be the Revere Police's opinion, I don't think it's a good location for a 24-hour operation. I think the hours that are there now are appropriate. The people coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning on the T, stopping in there, we don't want to give people an option, a place to be hanging out at that time in the morning. We'd rather see people going home at that time in the morning. All the bars are closed at 2 a.m. And that's the time we'd like to see things winding down in the city, not continuing to carry on.
Thank you. Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none. Any other questions from the commission?
None here.
I'm going to make a motion to keep the hours the same from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Is there a second to that motion?
Is that a motion to deny the applicant?
Yes, it's an application to deny the applicant. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm sorry, it's unanimous.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Tequila and Pupsera Restaurant La Familia, 341 Broadway. You're applying for a common victuals license. Please state your name and address for the record, please. I'm sorry, could you put the speaker?
Maria Fuentes.
Maria Fuentes, great. And can you tell us exactly what you're planning to do?
¿Quieres de verdad? Yes. Restaurante. ¿Qué te puse ahí?
Yeah, just like a family restaurant, just all family owned.
Can you put the mic on, please?
The mic's on, actually, you
Is
gotta
it
lower
on?
it. Just lower it down a little bit.
No, it's not on.
Oh, that's great.
Just a family restaurant. My mother and my father, just, family owned, pretty much.
Okay, and what kind of seating are you expecting for 22?
They saying about 18 instead.
18, okay. It looks like you've applied for 22 people. So tell me a little bit about experience in the restaurant business.
Experience. Jose, my father, has had 20 years of experience experience working in a restaurant in Robbie's in Boston.
Okay. And so your hours are going to be from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., is that correct?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
And this is just an application for a common victuals license, there's no alcohol, is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. What about parking in the area? What, is there any parking around the establishment?
No, it would just be like Broadway.
On just Broadway?
Meters, yeah.
Okay. Great. Any questions from the commission?
Which one is Jose? Yeah, Jose, are you the cook? You're going to be the cook there? What hours will you be putting in at the restaurant?
Go to the 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
You're going to be there 6 in the afternoon? Or in the morning?
6 a.m.
Oh, okay,
to
6
10
a.m.
10 p.m.
Okay, and the manager is who? He's not the manager down.
That's right. He's
When do you
and
get the manager?
what about Mrs. Fuente? What's the time frame that she's going to be putting in?
What does it matter if it's not in the restaurant?
Es lo mismo trabajar juntos.
Same hours, they're going to work together.
You know, work deal. Okay. Good. Nice. What's that? I'd say it's up towards yeah, on the street.
341, where's 341? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They haven't even got their sign-offs yet.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to get I think I got one.
So at this point in time, have you started any renovations in the restaurant?
Yeah, we're in the process of a few like repairs, but it's almost ready.
So you haven't, according to our records here, you haven't had any sign-offs from the Board of Health, the Building Department, or the other inspectional services, is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have the papers yet.
I'm sorry?
We should continue this.
Yeah. All right, what I'm going to suggest here is that normally you would have all the inspectional services done before you come before this board. But I also recognize it's sort of putting the cart before the horse. You don't want to put the money into the restaurant until you realize you get the license, okay? So I'll make a motion to approve this, contingent upon you getting approval from the inspectional services, the fire department, the building department, the health department, okay? And then at that point in time, once you receive all the inspectional services, you'd bring those here to City Hall, to the License Commission. And then as soon as we have all of the paperwork, we'll give you authorization to open, okay? Before I do that, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Or any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this applicant? Hearing and seeing none on both, I'll make a motion to approve contingent upon inspectional services approval.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, your license has been approved pending your inspectional services approvals, okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 is the Bikers Outfitters, Inc. application for a Class 1 MV license. Please state your name for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman and members, good afternoon. James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway in Revere on behalf of the applicant. This is a case that comes before the License Commission on an application for a Class 1 vehicle sales application. The way that we've gotten here and the history that we've been able to trace is a little bit convoluted, to say the least. But nonetheless, we've squared away all of the zoning issues, which were paramount when we first approached the board and the commission and inquired about the status of the license. So Revere City Council has recognized the pre-existing non-conforming use of a Class 1 vehicle license and then issued an additional special permit for a Class 2 license. And that comes from the table of uses in the zoning code. This is zone GB. And in order to get the Class 2 license, we needed to come before the council to get that special permit, whereas the Class 1 had already been grandfathered. So that allows us to come here and to plead the case of the historical elements of sales and service of motorcycles at that location. The current owners, the Darians, picked up this property and the business after the previous owner had passed away, and for several years the business languished in the probate court. So as far back as we are able to tell, that there were both new and used motorcycles sold at that location for 20 and maybe 30 years. The most recent 3 licenses that we were able to locate in the archives of the city are for 1993. There was a Class 1 license that was renewed at the fee of $100, and that was the previous owner, Laidley Realty, DBA Circle Sales, and that was the motorcycle vendor at that time at the same address. And that was for Class 1. Subsequent to that, on January 22nd, 1996, the License Commission then gave permission to sell both Class 1 and Class 2, new and used. The Department of Inspectional Services, and over the signature of the building inspector, on August 6, 2001, issued a certificate of occupancy for that address and issued it in the name of Jack Darian and his son. Most recently, we have from the archives a renewal of the business certificate for new and used motorcycles, and that was 6/3/1996, which sort of predates a little bit the acquisition of the business by the Darians, who had taken the business, bought it, and then carried it forward and exercised all those uses that had beforehand existed, and that would have been the sale of new, the sale of used, the repair of used motorcycles, small engines, and the sale of motorcycle parts, as well as the outfitting, the leather, the gloves, and the jackets and the riding apparel, and so forth. Somewhere along the line, this license fell into a black hole. Although the business was being carried out, it was pointed out when we last came, when Jack and Harry last went to the building inspector for the inspection, that there was no license on record, no current license on record. So in an effort to backtrack what happened to it, this is what we came up with in the chain of title of both the use and the licenses that, that existed at the property. To the extent that, and we had quite a bit of discussion at the Site Plan Review Committee, as we did with the City Council. Site Plan Review Committee, when considering and deliberating what we would need for a Class 2 license, concluded that we needed a special permit. When we got to the City Council said, wait a minute, you don't really need to be here because you're already okayed for Class 1, and a Class 1 includes a Class 2. The statute is a little murky in that area. I can see that from one point of the compass, if you look at it, that can be interpreted as such. We looked at it, Attorney Vigliotti and I, in a little more conservative light and read the statute as being strictly construed, that they're separate licenses. However, we're here to validate both and to get these people back on track so that they are going forward operating with the appropriate licenses under the appropriate zoning designation and are able to engage in the business that they purchased and continue in the business that they purchased. So I understand it's a little bit, there are some gaps in the title there, and it's a little bit not as clear as we would like it to be, but apparently that's why we end up at city councils and site plan review and other places looking for clarification and validation. And so that's what we would be doing in this instance, is to ask the License Commission to issue new or to validate old, both Class 1 and Class 2 vehicle, motorcycle licenses. If there are any questions relative to that, as best I can answer them, I will. If not, I will defer to Attorney Vigliotti, who was actually the historian on the property. So if there are no further questions, Mr. Chairman, yes, then that would conclude our presentation.
Yeah, we were just trying to clear something up.
So our understanding right now is that you're reapplying for the Class 1 in that there was an oversight somewhere along the way. It was the intention to continue in that business. There was, you didn't turn in the license. It's been the same ownership under both, under Class 1 and Class 2.
Yes.
Okay. Our understanding is that you need to apply for both Class 1 and Class 2 here.
Well, yeah, I think site plan review is correct in that, and Attorney Vigliotti and I both conservatively took that approach, although one of the counselors on the city council had almost convinced me that that wasn't the case. But I think I would tend to agree with the chair. Yeah.
Because currently, right now, I don't believe we have a Class 2 license in effect. Is that correct, May? Yeah. No, okay. So you would, in effect, be applying for both Class 1 and 2 here. Okay, got that, okay.
But this application clearly states you just applied for Class 1 at this point. You haven't, are you implying that Class 1/Class 2 is one of the same?
Well, that yes, because if you read the statute, and what the council told us, is that if you have a new car license or new vehicle license, the statute clearly says that you can sell used vehicles as well. On the theory, I suppose, that if someone trades in a used motorcycle or a used car for a new one, what do you do with it? Generally, you just put it out in the lot and you sell it.
I agree.
And to my way of thinking, it may only be a matter of fee generation on the application and yearly fee payment amount, because the qualifications in the background and all of the rest of the paperwork is the same.
I don't think so, Counselor. You know, they're not, Class 1, Class 2 is not the same. I think...
Well, I think the Class 1 is probably more detailed than the Class 2, and that's what we filled out.
I would say that... What's that?
Yeah,
So your
I thought that
intent,
was- Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, your intention here is to apply for both Class 1 and Class 2?
Is to be able to sell new and used motorcycles, whether that requires a Class 1, which covers both,
But currently-
or Class 1 and Class 2.
But currently, right now, they're just selling outfitting equipment, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So if your intention here is to apply for 1 and 2, and you've only applied for 1, recognize that we've got some confusion over the statute. What I would suggest is that let us look at both here today,
Yes.
and because I agree with you, one goes with the other. They go hand in hand. I mean, like you said, if you take it in for a trade, you got to deal with, you got to do something with it, right? So, and theoretically, if you brought in new equipment,
Yes.
you'd still be servicing new equipment as you would old equipment, right? So,
Yes. Have the statute here.
I would say that let us look at the statutes and recommend either you filling out the additional information that's required in the Class 2 application, but for the purposes of today, we'll consider both 1 and 2.
Right, and Mr. Chairman, I know what, actually it was Councilor Guanasso, and he and I had that discussion during, at the City Council. Under Chapter 140, Section 58, Sub B, it talks about a Class 1, and that is for new motor vehicles. In the third line down, it says that it allows the purchase and sale of secondhand motor vehicles being incidental or secondary thereto or a part thereof. So incidental to the sale of new motor vehicles. So that's where I think Arthur I think that's what he pointed to. Not to cause a family rift, by the way.
The thing that's confusing me, we know there's a moratorium in the city.
Right.
We're all well aware of the moratorium on a Class 2 license. I guess where I'm coming from is you're applying, I thought that the route we were going to go on this was he always had a Class 1 license or
Yes.
whatever happened. I remember years ago, there was a car dealer there. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I do remember at one point. But my way of thinking is you would go for that Class 1 license. Class 1 license is your primary business is selling new cars. That's what
Yes.
Class 1 is. Okay. So if you were to go with Class 2 also, what's your primary business there?
Class 1.
If you would have Class 2 with a Class 1.
Class 1. It would be new. And that's why we submitted the contract with the new motorcycle distributor.
But if you were to do that, then you would have had to have brought us a, do you have an insurance policy?
But we filed it all.
You filed the
Yes.
$25,000? I don't have those papers.
My understanding on the Class 1 license, the $25,000 bond was not required.
No, that would be for the Class 2. If you were going for the Class 2 now, before you could even get that, you would have to have that.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Okay.
The position that the Class 1 license was what was applied for was based upon the interpretation, past interpretation of the commission saying that Class 1 included, incidentally, the sale of used vehicles on the assumption that someone buying a new bike would have an old bike that he's trading in, and then the dealer would have that second-hand bike to subsequently sell. So that would be the incidental part to the Class 1 license. New sale, take in the used vehicle, and then sell the used vehicle.
I would
That's why
agree.
the application went in as a Class 1, based upon the past history with the commission, and having a Class 2 special permit from the City Council, we thought we had all the bases covered.
I think the criteria is a little bit different for zoning and for licensing. It just came to me why, with the discussions with the site plan review committee, is that they said if you're selling something that's used, you need to get your zoning squared away so you can do it. They weren't going to approve it unless we got the zoning squared away. So, but for licensing, it seems clear in the statute that if it's incidental to new vehicle sales, you can sell. If you're only selling used, I think you just need to go and get a Class 2, for which there's a moratorium. That's why we came to get a Class 1 for the License Commission, but actually to sell the motorcycles that you take in as used, they made us go and get a special permit. So, I mean, they're the final arbiter, so we followed their lead. But I think the more I look at this statute and where it says that if your primary business is new, then you're allowed under your Class 1 to sell incidental there too, what you take in.
I would agree. I mean, that would make sense. Otherwise, I mean, when you're dealing in new vehicles, I mean, you're always having vehicles being traded as part of that sale process. Okay, so tell us, before I ask for proponents, tell us a little bit about how you're going to operate. I mean, there are certain requirements that you need to have in terms of parking spaces.
Right.
And how are you going to deal with the storage of the vehicles? Because my understanding coming out of the city council is that there was going to be no outdoor storage of trailers or motorcycles in front of the building.
Correct. There's an 8,500 square foot lot. You have a 2-story brick and block building that's 55 by 60, and you can get all of those things inside the building. It's also fenced and paved in the back, so you're not going to be storing all of this stuff up on the frontage of the public way, and I know that's a concern. There are parking spaces there now. You can store inside 40 motorcycles inside. Of course, you display some of them outside for sale, but at night, bringing them back in. There are an additional 5 parking spaces for customers, and they do have a new bike dealership contract, which I think is in the file.
Yeah.
So they're ready to go. They're ready to pull the trigger tomorrow.
And they're clearly marked, the parking spots out in front of the building.
And that's one of the conditions. And as the striping wears off, they'll keep up with that as well.
So so those conditions have been met coming out of the
Yes.
council. Okay, great. I mean, having lived in the area and know the site pretty well, I continue to live in the area for that matter. They've run a very good establishment. There hasn't been any issues associated with that business. I do remember the times when they sold both new and used equipment. Their hours of operation are going to be what?
Hours of operation, 9 a.m., 6 p.m.
I'm sorry?
9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
9 p.m. Okay. And is that 7 days?
Currently, they're closed on Sundays, but we don't, like everyone else in the city, we don't know what next year is going to bring.
Okay. Okay.
So these are going?
They're staying. These are staying. No, there are 5 spots allocated out in front for parking. Is that right? Yeah.
And like everything else, as the business gets going, and if they may need to transfer those 5 parking spaces, we may have to put them on the side and stripe them there. But you just
And there's room on the property to do that.
oh, indeed, yes.
Okay.
There's 8,500 square feet to do it.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
The only thing that I'm looking at, the only cars that will be for sale will be only trade-ins. Using your Class 2/Class 1 would be a trade-in. If someone come in and bought something and you wanted to take their car as trade-in, you could sell that.
You could.
With the Class 1.
I think as well, if someone wanted to sell their bike and say, look,
Or bike.
I'm done, or their motorcycle, and say, look, I want to sell it to you, and you can buy it at wholesale price and then sell it. So long as their primary focus is on selling new bikes.
New bikes. So
Right.
this license will not allow you to go buy used cars and bring them to your lot. This license is just going to be for your new license, new vehicles, unless there's a trade-in.
Well, I wouldn't want to confine them to that. Because if it's incidental to, and it's not it's an accessory use, it's not the primary use, if there's a large market for 2-year-old bikes, for people who can't afford a new one, I don't see why not, so long as it's not their primary use, it's only incidental to the new bikes, I would want to restrict them to doing it. But obviously, the profit's in the new bikes.
Are you talking about automobiles, Commissioner, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about the bikes. If he
bikes?
goes, right, if he,
So
with the same license, go buy used bikes, say from another dealer, or what they have, the auctions, you can go and buy bikes from auctions, okay? With this Class 1 license, does that allow you to do that, go buy used vehicles without a Class 2?
I believe it does, but you can't do it unless your primary business is new bikes or new vehicles, in other words.
So you can't take that business from being a new bike dealership to a used bike
lot,
dealership.
right.
Right. Yeah, it's not, this isn't a smoke and mirrors trying to get under the radar of the Class 1 and Class 2. It's a real contract.
Well, that's what I'm concerned with. I don't want to become a used car,
Right.
bike lot, and we're giving you a Class 1 license.
Right. No, they will indeed be using that and exercising that contract for the new bikes, indeed.
Great. Any questions from the Commission?
No, I have no other questions.
Lieutenant Randall, any comments from?
No, we've had no problems with that location.
Great. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the license. Is there a second to that motion?
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The license has been approved. Thank you.
What?
But they're selling cars.
They'd like to. They would like to, yeah. I don't think it's,
What's 7?
it's
What's item
going to
7?
play bounce back. Number 7?
That's fine. Item number 7 is Hazmat Ralph doing business as Express Foods Shops, 288 Broadway. Nice.
Copied on the back of my kids' music. I teach
Okay.
them piano.
Seeing that they're not in attendance, we'll go to item number 8, Takara Eucalypto 2 Corporation. Hi, so please state your name for the record, please.
Raul Santos.
Great. You're here to talk about reinstating your license to 2 a.m.
I think we're going to do this first.
I'm sorry?
We're doing the DBA.
Change the DBA.
Yeah, sure, we can
Let's
do
do
it.
the
You're
change.
right. Sorry about that. So you've got an application in here to change the doing business?
Yes, I applied for change the name to the Taqueria Eucalipto to Las Vegas restaurant.
Okay. And so what is changing in the restaurant that's requiring you to make a change to the name?
Just the name.
Just the name?
Not now.
So it's the same management, same ownership?
Everything the same, just the name, because the Eucalipto, nobody liked that name. That's the reason I changed for an easy name for everybody. Including when I come to do something in the city, well, they start, they can pronounce the name. So I put that easy name for everybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, that's easy enough, Las Vegas.
February when you're going down for taco.
Okay, and you're going to continue to operate as a Mexican restaurant, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and none of the any of the ways you operate the establishment is going to change, other than hopefully some of the issues that we're going to talk about later?
I hope no issues coming.
Okay.
Again.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the change in name. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's been approved, the name of the restaurant's been approved. So this is a review hearing on your rollback from 2 a.m. to 1 a.m. Can you tell us what changes you've instituted since you've had those problems at the establishment?
Well, I right now working with the security to make sure no progress at all. And when that happened to the present, I don't have any problems. And plus, I make sure nobody come to use it intoxicated, like everybody available to welcome.
So you're screening people as they come in and making sure that they're not intoxicated coming in?
Yeah.
Have you had any, so at closing time, everybody's out of the establishment?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody leaves before the
Okay.
one.
And does your security people basically make sure that everybody gets out and leaves
Yeah, that
orderly?
that's their job, yeah.
They do?
They do.
Okay. Lieutenant Randall, any issues associated with that since the rollback to 1 a.m.?
I've checked all the logs since the rollback. I've spoken to some of the officers on the night shift who are there on a regular basis in that area. I've made 2 surprise inspections myself at nighttime operation hours. We haven't found any violations. There've been no arrests out of that location since the rollback time. We've had no calls for service. Just the officers going by and directed patrol, checking to make sure they are closed at the given time. I've seen no indication that they have been open past 1 o'clock at any point, so they seem to be following all the rules imposed by the commission.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
No, I have no questions.
I would, before I make a motion on this, I would say that, based on Lieutenant Randall's review, that it appears that things have gone pretty well, and it sounds like you've made the proper changes in order to manage people going in and out of the restaurant and respecting the neighbors and making sure that it's quiet at closing time and that everybody's out on time. Having said that, I don't know if that's a function of it being 1 a.m. or whether it's 2 a.m. So what I would say is that I'll make a motion to roll it ahead to 2 a.m. again, and then if there are any other issues, obviously we'll have you before the board again. But having said that, it sounds like you've done the right things. I don't, sure.
Excuse me, Commissioner. I think their rollback is still in place till June 10th.
June 10th, right?
Right.
Okay, so it'll stay in effect till June 10th.
It will stay in effect till June 10th.
So,
But they don't have to appear again, I don't.
that's right. So assuming that there isn't any issues that we get any reports from the Revere Police Department that haven't been any issues up to June 10th, then I would make a motion to grant that it go back to 2 a.m. And see how it goes from there. Yes. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ira Novoselsky, 53 D Home Street, Ward 2 Councilor. I have spoken to Raul, and I've heard rumors going around, but I could never confirm them. And I have been in touch with Revere Police to make sure that they do their ride-bys and their checks. And they have found no problems. So, and when I spoke to the manager and the owner, I told them that, we're going to be watching them, and any serious complaints that come up, we will deal with it at the time. So, it's right around the corner from my house, and we keep an eye on it. So, I think it's good we give them another chance. I have spoken also to the company that does the security. They called me to talk to me, and I told them the same thing. You know, they have to be very strict. They say 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, they got to move.
And you were satisfied with the answers that came out of the security?
So yeah, for now, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay. Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf of the applicant? Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf? Hearing and seeing none, I will make a motion to roll ahead the hours back to 2 a.m. Is there a second to that motion?
Effective on?
Effective on June 10th.
On June 10th. I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. It's been approved on June 10th. Pending no issues by the Revere Police Department, you could move your hours back to 2 a.m. Okay? Thank you. We're in here, right? Item number 10 is show cause hearing for MFRP Corp. doing business as the Squire, 604 Squire Road. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Attorney Lawrence Simeone for Squire, 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts. I have with me Rob DePisa, who's one of the managers of the company. Peter DePisa was with me at a meeting the other day with police officer Randall and David Callahan to discuss some of the issues. The issues discussed were far beyond the reason why we're here. I believe we've cured the reason why we first were brought here, which was to put details on Thursday. Initially, they had put details on Friday and Saturday. There was a cost issue. They didn't think it was cost effective given the low turnout and clientele. The season has now turned. Mr. DePisa has indicated that there is sufficient business to warrant it, which is not your concern, obviously. You're looking at safety, we're looking at business. Doesn't put us all on the same page at the same time.
No, I think we're on the same page, Counselor.
But at least now we are on the same page. Okay? So there's detail offices on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and continued open communication between myself and Lieutenant Callahan and Lieutenant Rand.
And my understanding is that you also had requested, because you had a party that you were looking at hiring an additional detail officer for that event.
Yes, yeah.
And to me, that shows that clearly that there's I think everyone's interest is aligned in terms of safety of the club, and we do not want to be in the way of business. I clearly want to make that clear that we want to help businesses thrive. I mean, we also have the duty of making sure that they're run properly and that there isn't any issues that could affect the public. But having said that, I mean, I think that we want to promote businesses in the city, and I recognize that, given the nature of the business, that it's tough, and there are things that are just inherent in that business, and that you're gonna need to deal with those things from time to time. And having said that, it looks like to me that you've made the proper steps in terms of agreeing with the police department and having, I think, a good meeting and agreeing to have detail offices there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mr. Chairman, you see, there's an evolution in this industry. The evolution goes from the past to now trying to identify business people as clients, couples even as clients in this industry. So that's where my client is going in the market, which is, we're hoping will be a much stronger market as years come on. Our continued communication with the police department benefits us and our clientele, especially that new clientele that we're cultivating. So we look forward to a long and strong communication between the department.
Just real quick, so I agree, you're doing the right thing, you're going to increase it, but you just said communication, that's the important thing.
Without question.
So in the future, if things are getting slow and you need to pull back on detail, just let us know, come in front of the board, so we don't find out from the police and or from, you know, Sergeant Randall and so forth. That's how we found out, so just let us know. We're fair, we're on, yeah, we'll work with you, but, you know, so communication's key.
So in the past, there was use of metal detectors.
I was going to touch upon that. That was one of the issues I wanted to bring up before we get into that. I don't see that on our agenda, but I was going to ask if we could set up a meeting and go over the procedures that have been put in place, such as wand or the metal detectors that at one time I remember being in there. And I was just wondering if we could set up a meeting to, I know they're not on the agenda for that.
Yeah, no, well, actually, I mean, that was part of the reason for having them come before I think you were out last meeting.
Right.
And so
It's really not.
Yeah, but it really
We
is.
just put on about the thing, well, I don't know if people may want to be regarding safety there. That was my concern. I mean, we can go ahead with it, but
I'd
I'd
like
like
to-
to give the audience a chance to come up if they have safety concerns of what is in place at your establishment.
I'm not,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we certainly could do that. I mean, here's, my feeling is that the metal detectors were used with the former owner, is that correct?
A long time.
Define a long time ago for me, Counselor.
I'm not sure. They weren't in there when we purchased it.
And at what year was that?
That was almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago? Okay. So tell me about, so now you use wands, and obviously wands, I mean, they're not as effective potentially as a metal detector. Yeah, you know, it has to, you know, it's really is determined by the user, right?
It all comes down to my client's responsibility and the personnel he picks.
And correct, and that's pretty much what I was driving at is that I know that there is questions about the metal detector being reinstalled. I'm at this point in time, I think I'm comfortable with the wands being the method, as long as people are properly trained in using them and that they're using them consistently. I recognize that they haven't been in use. I had some discussions with the police department, and they haven't been in use, and my understanding is you were concerned about the cost in getting them in working order. So, I mean,
Let me say this too. I got a brief opening to this issue at our meeting. And on the one hand, someone like myself would say, oh, it just came up. But on the other hand, I look at it as an opportunity to continue the dialogue. And so I would like the opportunity to reevaluate that situation, the wands, the number of people we have there, in concert with Lieutenant Randall and David County.
I mean, I think that's my point. My point is that it hasn't been in use. It was the prior owner that used them. There hasn't been any reason that I can see at this point in time that, and I've given this a lot of thought, because, I mean, on one hand, I say to myself, okay, based on the type of establishment, not necessarily yours, but just in general, it would probably make sense. But then by the same token, I also look at the fact that, yeah, you've had some incidents, but nothing that I would say would be that drastic that would require you to do metal detectors at this point. And having said that, I want to make sure that people using the wands are trained properly. And if the answer to that question is yes, and they go through a training process and it's a thorough screening, then that's acceptable to me. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I don't think we really need to have a hearing on it, because there really isn't anything that has happened that warrants them to come up before that requires us to do a metal detector, other than the fact that the prior owner had one.
No, I guess, I was on board with the prior owner. And, no, I thought a review hearing just for viewing audience to find out exactly what they have in place, how they're going forward. And yes, we've had no problems with them since that one incident. But I like to keep it that way, and I guess things are changing there. So I thought just a review as we just did with the last licensee.
Would that be acceptable,
But
Counsel?
as long as you've got open communication with the police department and they're satisfied and we are going along with the officers on duty, I'm fine with that. But I just want, when you leave here, be secure and feel that you've got things under control there and we don't have to worry about it. That was my only thing, and I don't want to bring up anything because it wasn't on our agenda.
And this, I'll end my side of it, the conversation with, I will follow up, my client and I will follow up with Lieutenant Randall and Lieutenant Callahan on this issue so that we're both on the same page. And what Lieutenant Randall does with that information, how he funnels it to the committee, that will be up to him.
Okay, I'd just like to ask one more question. You can answer it if you want. I know this isn't a hearing on it. But the issue was in the parking lot. Have we blocked that off from the gas station? You were going to make some kind of change there so that they couldn't come through Washington Ave? And
Yes, we did. That's been blocked off since our last meeting, the day afterwards. There's only one entrance in and out.
so you can't cut through that gas
Cannot.
station?
No. A lot of people aren't happy about that, including employees, but you can't do it.
Well, I think it's something that had to be done.
Absolutely.
So just so you know, are the problems in your lot, or is it coming from the gas station? Those were just some of the questions that I did want to ask. But,
Absolutely.
I'm satisfied with the wand and what my colleagues feel.
I'd say unless Lieutenant Randall has any objection, I think we'll go with open communication to the police department and
Yeah, no, we have a detail officer there on weekends, and now, and they have been using the wand, and I think a metal detector catches 100% of all items on a person coming in. I don't know if the wand, it all depends on the person who's using it, but it is an effective tool when it's used correctly, so.
Okay, and since the change in the parking lot, have we had any problems outside in the parking lot?
No, other than the fact that, we send officers there on the weekend proactively to watch closing time at that particular location. We haven't had any serious problems.
so I guess based on that, I guess the one thing that, do you have a comment? No. Oh, the one thing that I would probably say is if you can provide us with some detail around training around the ones, that would be great. Great. Having said that, I don't have any other questions. I don't think the commission does either. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11 is show cause hearing for Fidel Lassan, doing business as Asalam Market. Please state your name for the record, please.
Fidel Lassan for Asalam Market.
I'm sorry. So, is that on? Yeah. So our concern here is, the reason why we had you come up is that there's been a number of violations going from the fire department, Board of Health, those kinds of issues. My major concern is that the fire department has been there a number of times, the Board of Health has been there a number of times. They've cited you. You haven't paid the fees associated with those citations. And more importantly, you haven't addressed the issues until most recently, until it came to a point where you had to come before this board. And I find that problematic. And so can you tell me why you have those issues and what you're going to do to rectify them in the future?
Yes, sir. For the fire inspector, there's one thing I didn't know about it. So the inspector, he came in last time and he explained it, how is the process that works for that one, which is the fire system, ANSO system, for the ANSO system. He came in last time and he explained it to me how it works. It works every 6 months. I never know that about it. The first time when he came in, he never explained it to me that works every 6 months. He came in, he just told me that, and he left. Then he came back a few days, so it was done, you know, when he told me to do it. Then he came in a second time, I told him I did it. He says, no, it's expired. And he explained it how it works. And I fixed it. Right after that, he told me, okay, I'm going to take you to the board, you know, he's going to bring me over here. So I told him how it works, and he explained it to me how it works, and I done it for him. All the things he told me, that I done it for him completely.
So, having said that, it's your responsibility to know the rules.
Correct.
Okay? And it shouldn't be the fire department, you know, telling you how to do it. I mean, there are rules associated with it. You should get familiar with those things. Having said that, so the next time the fire department comes in to do inspections, your system will be up to...
You will not have no issue from now on.
Okay. All right, so tell me about a little bit about a lot of... So my understanding is doors have been blocked in the past, so there hasn't been a clean egress coming out of the building because of stock being in the building. I mean, has that been rectified?
I'm sorry, I didn't...
So my understanding was when the fire inspector went in, he observed that the doors were blocked with boxes of supplies. Thank you.
There was a little bit of boxes of a date. It was like this much by the door. He told me to remove them, and I did that right away. Like even the health inspector told me you got to keep maintain this one, the door section. It's very close. I have a door about 36 inches, and I have like about 4 inches boxes that were sitting over there in the shop, like against the counter. And then he told me to move them. I moved them right away. They haven't been there for the past I think like a month.
So if they were to make a spot inspection today or next week,
they would definitely. He came in yesterday and he saw everything. He removed the tag and it was everything done.
Okay. So you're telling in terms of dealing with the Ansel system, not the Ansel system, sorry. There was also some issues with.
For the Ansel system?
No, the hood system and
the Ansel system, the hood system, I already have them on contract and I explained to them how to work out with them. I signed the contract with them. They will be here every 6 months for the hood cleaner. I think it's every 3 months because I use it a lot and I told him to maintain it every 3 months for me. So he's already on the top of it. And then for the Ansel system, I ordered a company after he told me, explained it to me. I told the guys, they put me in the schedule. For every 6 months, they're going to come in and change the tags. They're going to come and change the tanks, check the Ansel system, and review code through everything with it.
Okay. What I would say is that we would recommend that they make spot inspections. I mean, listen, we don't want to sit here and make things difficult for you, but by the same token, we can't allow things like that to get out of hand. So. I don't have any other comments other than that, unless my colleagues have anything to say.
I have the license if you want me to get to you, for the Ansel system and the hood cleaning. If you want to see them, I have them.
Okay. Please state your name for the record, please.
Dan Manoff, 400 Broadway, Revere Fire Department. I'm the fire inspector. These issues have been ongoing for probably the last 6 to 12 months. He's been cited numerous times, not just last week, for cooking equipment maintenance, grease buildup in the hoods, poor maintenance of equipment, unauthorized equipment under the hood, egress obstructed. Actually, I was here yesterday for a quick spot inspection. The egress going out to the home street, the door was locked. He's open for business, the door is locked. These issues are just ongoing. Every time we go in there, there's an issue. And most of the issues are resolved as of yesterday. Obviously, he's coming up for hearing today. But, he still had some issues yesterday. Like I said, with the door was locked, which has to be open. And, we just want to resolve it and not be up here and filing complaints. And I have to show up there every week. They have them come into compliance. It's beyond, a fire issue, health issue, and he has a lot of issues, and he's not really equipped, in my opinion, to run a restaurant.
Great, thank you. Mr. Lasan, I would suggest that you familiarize yourself with the regulations, both from Board of Health, Fire Department, plumbing. Make sure that you have all of those pieces of equipment in working order, and that they meet the codes of the Fire Department and the other inspection services. Oh, I'm sorry. So we also have the plumbing inspector who wants to speak as well. Please, yeah, just hang tight right there for a minute. Please state your name for the record, please.
My name is Mark Walker, I'm the plumbing inspector.
Great. We can.
This journey has started last June. And since last June, I've issued 8 citations of $250 apiece, which haven't been paid. Sent them to the owner of the building, thinking the owner of the building was the owner of the restaurant. That's what I usually do. I send it to the owner of the building. I don't know the gentleman's name. The owner came in the other day looking for a letter from me because he had no Chelsea Court to fight these tickets. So I said to him, I said, why did you come in on the first ticket or the second ticket? But now you wait for the 8th ticket because now you have to go to Chelsea Court. It takes a process to get there. All right, that being said, he talked about evicting him for not paying the rent. There's a bunch of stuff, but it's none of my business. That being said, on January 27, 2010, I had a certificate of occupancy for a business that is a restaurant which has 12 seats. There are no seats in the place. Okay. He's also removed a handicap bathroom, which he had no right to do. When I was there with Inspector Manning, they had taken the remaining handicap bathroom and put a wall up to cut it in half so that it would be just a single toilet. More plumbing work done illegally. It just keeps happening in this job. I keep sending fines. The owner says he gives them the fines. They don't get paid. He also had 5 pieces of gas equipment removed there. There's now only 2. So gas equipment was removed without permits. And we're talking gas here. Gas has to be inspected. It has to be tested. It's not being done. So I have some issues with this here. I'm going to continue to send this fines. As a matter of fact, through the plumbing code, I'm going to find out his name. I'm going to file a complaint with the plumbing board and let them handle it. Because they have the authority to find me more.
So the work hasn't been rectified. The work hasn't been rectified then.
No, he hired a plumber. The plumber filed the applications. He did some of the work. That was months ago. I gave this gentleman the option of getting a variance before the plumbing board to remove my bathroom. But he's never acted on it. He just did it on his own. And there was a restaurant as of 2010. There's no further occupancy or anything about that. So, what are we going to do?
What is it being run as now?
It seems to be a grocery store with a grill in the back. So I'm assuming he's making fast food. And it's takeout, I guess.
Now, is this a single family?
No,
What type of building is it?
It's a brick building where Tracy Auto Parts used to be.
Okay, no apartments attached to it or anything else? Because I'm concerned about the hazards there.
Well, I'm concerned about the gas exposure.
Right.
Frankly. I mean, God knows what's going on in this place, and I've been there twice, and nothing's been done.
And when was this? When?
Well, I was there on or around June 12th of last year, and then I went back maybe a month later to see if anything had been done. The plumber hasn't called me for an inspection, so I haven't been there. I send tickets so that maybe they'll get a wake-up call. I don't want to give out funds, believe me. But if I send a ticket, I figure somebody will call me up and call me or have something. But at least I called, and now I can go in there and see if they've done the work. Nothing's been done. 8 tickets I sent.
Can you explain that, Mr. Lasang?
The inspector, he was just there about a month ago. He gave me 4...
What inspector?
Mark.
Okay.
Inspector Mark, he was there. The license, my contractor, the plumbing license guy, he called them. He made an appointment with them. He came in, he inspected a few things. And then he didn't see the sign in the bathroom for the handicap sign. He mentioned that one. He told them to fix that one. He didn't see the grip for the bathroom. The contractor, he put it as low came back. And I have a text message, and I told
Have you notified him?
I told the license, he told me, he gave me 4 things. He gave me the mirror. It was one of those mirrors for the handicap. It goes down a little bit. The contractor, the construction, he put it up for me. And then he said, the inspector, he told me to change it, that's what I did. I changed that one. I bought a brand new one, and I will put it in. And then the grid for the bar, we put it in. He was there not even a month ago.
Mr. Locke?
Mark was there?
Yeah, Mark
He
was
said he
here.
wasn't.
He was there a month ago.
Well,
Alex, the plumber, I have a contractor, his name Alex, and he called them, he made an appointment with him, and he came and inspected.
Do you?
No, it's like, you were there a month ago. I have
sir, excuse me, direct it to the board.
Okay, miss.
But if Mark Locke said he wasn't there, I'm gonna believe that he wasn't there.
Honest to God, I swear on anything.
Since when did you close the restaurant? When did you close the restaurant?
I did not close the restaurant. When I applied for the store, I took over this location in about 2010. I applied, he came in, he signed for an occupancy. I applied for the health department. I applied for the fire department. They approved me. I was doing just a takeout. I came in over here, I applied for my license too. I came in over here, I applied for my license too. They gave me, they approved my license. I went, I had the plan, reviewed by the fire inspection, approved by the fire inspection, took it to the building department over there, started all the work with contractors and everything, licensed and everything for one handicap, and I was doing just a takeout, a grocery and / meat market.
But did you apply for the variance that he suggested?
I applied for everything.
Do you have records? Do you have applications?
I have. It should be in the system.
What is that?
Excuse me, his records. Okay, it looks like in 2010 you did apply for grocery.
So what we have is I've got approvals by the fire department. However, we've had 2010. So what I have is I've got approvals of occupancy from the fire department, recognizing that since that time you've had violations that he's asked you to rectify.
I have never received a violation from an officer from the inside.
Hasn't he just been in there to...
Mark, he gave me...
Not Mark. I'm talking about the fire inspector.
He never gave me. He told me to do... The first time he came in, he told me to do it. Oh, I'm going to tag you. And I says, okay. I did it right away. Right as soon as he told me.
Is that correct, Mr. Manoff?
He came in at this date over here.
Over the last year or so, I've been in there probably a dozen times. A few of the times, I just gave him a verbal warning, told him what he had to do. I tagged his answer system non-compliant, and I didn't write up an order or notice ordering him to do it. But I have been in there, I've talked to him, tried to help him out numerous times, and it just never worked. Then I just started ordering him and writing him up and shutting down his operation from cooking. But he's totally in violation of his occupancy permit. He's running a restaurant, a fast food operation without the restaurant part, which his occupancy permit was originally that I signed off for, was a restaurant with 10, 12 chairs, and there are no chairs there.
Okay. And there's no sign off by the plumbing inspector.
Correct. Or it appears there's no sign off from the building department either there.
That's correct.
The original plan submitted to the building department called for 2 bathrooms, 2 handicap bathrooms, because he had a restaurant there. Well, when I went, and I inspected the work way back then, when I went to inspect the manor, there was only 1 bathroom. And it was, like I said, it was cut down the middle. So I told him we had to bring it back, and I gave him the option again to go for a variance for the plumbing board to remove 1 bathroom. But he has never done that.
So there's still 2 bathrooms in there?
Only 1 bathroom.
Because he divided, gotcha.
As a restaurant,
Right.
Perhaps as a grocery store, he may only need one bath. That's why I gave him the option to do that, but he never acted on it. He's taking out other plumbing in the building, no permits have ever been filed. He's doing gas work, no permits have ever been filed. Someday, God forbid, there'll be an issue there. He's just not listening to us.
In 2010, he did the grocery store. Okay. New grocery and sandwiches.
Let me see.
This was his plans, I don't see, he did apply in, when did he go to this one, yeah? When he applied for that.
No. Failed.
This is
No, I don't see
2011 or
any.
2002.
And, I think that was
I'm confused.
even the subpumps he had there too.
So I have some major concerns here. I mean, I think that you know, I recognize that you can have differences of opinions on things, but clearly, to me, this is not a difference of opinion. This is clearly your blatant disregard for any of the inspectional services that are here. I mean, I think that the fact that there was that plumbing, especially the gas, has been changed is troubling to me.
We have never ever touched the plumbing, the gas line. We have never touched it since the plumber did his job.
More of a understood, but then more of a reason why the plumbing inspector should have been in there, and he has been in there to inspect, and nothing's been done to rectify the problem. I mean, that's a major problem.
I called him a few times. I have Ira is my neighbor. He's right down the street from me, and he comes almost every week over there, and he comes and he checks the place over there. And ask him if it's anything wrong with the place over there.
Who is this?
Ira, Mr. Ira over there. He would definitely tell you. Like, he comes over there often over there. Sometimes, like, any change the city. He tells me clean the outside. Ask him if I've ever not cooperate with him. I think I'm willing to cooperate more than anything with the inspector. He just doesn't explain it to me the right way. If he tells me, like the other day, he came in and he pointed at 4 things.
He said he didn't come in there.
He came in.
No, made it.
This is the inspector told me from the health department.
But this is the health department. So right now we're talking about the fire department, and we're talking about the plumbing department.
He's more than welcome to come and inspect it.
Yeah, please.
He's more than welcome to come and inspect the place. If there is anything wrong with it, it will be changed in 24 hours.
You were given this letter by the plumbing inspector, which is Mark Locke. I had illegal sub pumps connected, and he clearly asked that he can get in there to check it. I don't know whatever happened with that.
Is that the building owner?
Some
Ahmed, who is the building owner?
Ahmed.
Ahmed's the building owner?
Yes.
So that went to the building owner.
Illegal sub pump connected at 1559 Marshall Road.
Yeah, I thought that was him.
Yeah.
We have never changed the sump pump since we rented this place about 5 years ago.
So that's the building.
Go back to the restaurant.
I mean, that's the building owner. So
Right.
they should have the building owner.
But it's that address.
I understand, but I want to address the issues that we have with him. I mean, the plumbing department should clearly address those issues with the building owner.
Excuse me.
I'm going to make a recommendation here. To be quite honest, I'm very uncomfortable about the operations the way they currently are.
No problem.
I'm going to suggest that you meet with the plumbing inspector.
No problem.
And that within the next week.
Whatever he says,
Okay?
I will do. I won't.
Unless my colleagues have any objection.
I just would like to get assurance from the plumbing inspector about the gas and the fire department that we're not going to expect any kind of a problem.
Let me jump in for a second. So what I'm going to ask is that you meet with the inspectional services, okay? Because we don't have what happened on that page. So we don't have sign off from the plumbing department, okay? okay? You don't have sign off from the building department,
Okay.
all right? And we've had issues with the Board of Health, okay? So those three agencies. I suggest that you meet with them within the next week,
Okay.
okay, by next Friday.
No problem.
What's that date? Okay, the 6th, okay, June 6th, that you meet with them by June 6th.
No problem.
You come up with a plan,
No problem.
and you have 30 days to rectify the problems that they've identified.
No problem.
Okay, and if those things aren't done, actually, I don't even, so that would actually be after our next meeting. However, having said that, if we feel that we're not getting progress from those inspection agencies,
No problem.
we'll call a special meeting, we'll call you back in here, and we'll
No
close
problem.
the establishment.
No problem, I will accept that. No problem.
Sure.
The gas is very cool. According to the plumber, because the plumber has to put a test on the gas from the inspector, I can't do that with him, because I don't do that. He's made a couple of purchases to go out there and look at it, but he keeps getting
Put your mic on, please.
Your mic, please.
I lost my train of thought. And this gentleman keeps reneging on the inspection. So if he won't let us into the building to do the testing, because we have to shut the gas down, I can't check it.
What is an acceptable day within the next 7 days?
I'm willing to give him the key for the place from now to go ahead and inspect it.
Mr. Locke, let me ask you one question. Given the situation, are you comfortable at all with the building, or is it something that you're...
The plumbing's one issue. Nobody's going to die from a toilet blowing up. But
No, I'm not...
The gas is very important.
Okay, so my question to you...
I would say tomorrow morning we should go in there.
Okay, that's my question. So, can you make...
He's more than welcome for tomorrow.
Okay, can you get your inspector, your plumber,
Plumber, first thing in the morning.
first thing in the morning to meet with the
No problem.
plumbing inspector
No problem.
to get this resolved?
No problem at all.
Okay, Mr. Locke, if that does not happen tomorrow, I want you to call the commission, License Commission, and let us know that hasn't happened.
Okay.
If that doesn't happen,
Thank you.
I'll call a special meeting, and I'll make a motion to close the establishment.
No problem.
Okay?
Is it possible if my contractor, my plumber guy, he was not available, can I meet just me and him?
No, get another plumber.
I got another plumber?
Yeah,
Okay.
get a licensed plumber. I mean, he feels that it's that much of an issue.
No problem.
Okay?
No problem, understandable.
I mean, I want to be crystal clear here. We want to be fair, but by the same token,
Appreciate
there's serious issues that you need to
I
deal with.
appreciate that.
Okay?
More than welcome. First
So-
thing in the morning.
Okay, so for the record, they're going to meet with the plumber and the plumbing inspector tomorrow morning. You're going to meet with the other inspectional services by next Friday,
No problem.
and the work is to be completed by
Building inspector, plumbing inspector,
and the Board of Health.
about that.
Okay?
No problem.
And then you've got 30 days to rectify all the problems, final inspection by those gentlemen, and if it's not done within those 30 days, we'll call a special meeting.
No problem.
Okay?
I personally, at this point, just have something to say. Just for the fact that the fire inspection's here, the plumbing inspector's here, I have to listen to what they say.
No problem.
Great concerns for me. I personally would close you down today, and if they go in and say they're not concerned, there's no gas problem, the fire will go off, your alarms will go off, if there's a problem, then I would say you can open back up. But at this point, I'm going to disagree with my colleague. And
Appreciate that.
I would rather, no, I'm disagreeing. I would rather you be closed down until they sign off.
Do you
Then
feel,
it is okay.
let me bring the plumbing inspector back up. What would be your suggestion?
Well, I don't want to see him closed down. Okay, but by the same token, he's got to correct these issues. The bathroom has to come back.
I'm more worried about the gas, to be
I
honest with you.
understand that, that's
So
why.
my question to you is do you feel that having them come tomorrow morning is acceptable, or do you feel that the building's not safe and we should close it until the inspector comes
Well,
in?
it's been like this for almost a year. I mean, if he could get the plumber this afternoon, I'll go there after 5 o'clock. I have no problem with that, if he can do that. But I think it should be addressed as ASAP. I really do. Enough is enough already. 8 fines, which may never get paid. Violations, he's doing his own work. He just doesn't care, in my opinion.
I think
It's enough already.
Mr. Locke, I think what I want to hear is that you, Mr. Manoff, can say that you're not concerned about something happening.
Well, I am not. I am concerned that something will happen. I am
Well,
concerned.
that's my concern, and that's why I'm saying I don't know that I can go along with giving him 30 days. If there is any possibility that there's a gas leak or something could happen, he is adjacent to another building, I'm concerned. So
I would agree with.
The only way we can find that out, though, is to have his plumber
Is
put
to have
an
the
air
inspection.
test on the system, and then that's one thing out of the way. That's the most serious thing out of the way.
Okay, and that's why, how I feel is that whatever you have to do, whatever plumbing you have to get in there, I think you've had a year, I think we've heard plenty of reasons why you really don't need any more time. You should have someone, he's willing to go there this afternoon. Just to tell this board, there's no gas.
Safety for public is more than anything to me too.
That's how I
want to
feel.
get sued for
So,
a lifetime too.
I think you should.
I'm more than happy to take him this afternoon, which is even I have to pay the inspector for his own time, no problem, I'm willing to do this.
Are you agreeable to that, Mr. Locke?
He needs a plumber over there.
I understand.
I
Can you
will,
get it?
I will give him my cell phone number, and I will meet the plumber there at any time tonight, tomorrow morning, whenever they can get the plumber there, ASAP. I'll do that. I don't want to see anything happen.
Is this the biggest problem is the gas? That's what
Well,
I'm
you
talking
know,
about.
there's,
I mean, the
there's other
balance,
issues,
whatever we
but
can do
yes,
with that.
if we know that the gas is tight,
You know what, then I'm
then
going
there's
to,
no danger.
My suggestion would be to close them now,
Well, you should.
go down, have someone come in.
Yeah, sure.
As
Oh,
soon
yeah,
as you
it
get the
doesn't matter.
plumber,
Why
if he
close it?
signs off on it, you
Why
open
close it?
again.
I have no problem. I'm going to close my kitchen to the gas line until he comes in tomorrow. I have no problem either. I have,
What, John?
Well, if it's a gas issue, whether it's open or closed, it doesn't make a hell of a... They're going to meet tomorrow morning, correct, or tonight?
Tonight,
As soon as possible,
Right.
and then you're going to get back with the plan. Well, you'll get back to us, correct? Is that... That's what we're going to do.
I have a store. I'm willing to close the kitchen section from right now. All I got to do is a phone call from here.
So let's do that.
I'll close. I have no
Let's not
problem.
beat a dead horse.
Right, close
You understand? Okay. So,
Close the kitchen section.
close the kitchen section.
No problem.
Meet with the plumbing inspector and
No
the
problem.
plumber
Today, sometime today.
today,
okay?
sometime today.
No problem.
And
They sign off
Mr.
on
Locke,
it?
if you sign off on the gas being shut down, if you go down and inspect with the plumber and you find it acceptable, even though there may be some changes, I'm more concerned about safety.
As long as the system is tight,
That's right.
secure,
Yeah.
I'm a happy fellow.
Okay, so as long as you come back to us with an approval, then we'll allow you to continue. However, you still need to address the work that the plumbing inspector has identified.
No problem.
Okay?
Can he be able to open me after he inspects the gas line?
If it's acceptable,
Is it acceptable?
yes.
to them? It's no problem.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Board?
If it's acceptable to you, yes.
No problem.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Manoff, are you comfortable with that? Okay, so you're going to agree to meet this afternoon with the plumbing inspector. Plumbing inspector is going to give us the okay or tell us what needs to be done, and then the rest of the work needs to be done in 30 days.
No problem. Anything the board says.
And you'll meet with the other inspectional services within 7.
Correct. No problem.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 12 is Revere House of Pastry. Should have called them first. Same gentleman. Okay. So, on what I would suggest that we do is on this, you haven't got your permits yet. You should speak to the inspectors.
I have talked to them, all of them. The fire inspector, he has approved the plan. The license, we have for the construction license, plumbing license, everything.
I would like to hear from you.
Yeah.
Let me send this.
Yeah, yeah. So there's an application for a common victuals license for the Revere House of Pastry.
Members of the commission, Ira Novoselsky, 53D Home Street, Ward 2 Councilor. This happens to be directly behind my house. And he's looking, I guess, to open a bakery with seating and serve coffee, similar
Could you just wait one minute?
similar to Casablanca up the street. Same type of scenario. Albeit everything that else is going on, I'm sure all the proper steps will be taken, and I have no problem with the hours of operation. It's a pretty large store. It's 2 stores combined into make one bakery.
Is it currently open now?
No, they're vacant.
So it's, both of them are vacant?
2 vacant stores, and he's opening up both stores into one, if I believe. There used to be a upholstery shop and a video store. Side by side is a home at the corner of Nahant Ave and Shirley Ave. And the parking lot is on the other side of the building.
Okay,
So-
but I understand, excuse me, counsel, before we go any further, I know they want to leave. Is all
No.
the paperwork in order here?
No.
No.
So what I'm going to suggest on this, go ahead, finish it.
You know,
finish your
just for the record, I have no problem with the timing and the shop being there. As we know what's been going on in his old shop. But, you know, and we expect that everything else is going to be done properly, according to the rules and regulations, that they get their proper inspections. We all expect that, everybody here, even himself and Mr. Locke and Inspector Maniff. And I just want, you know, so with all that, I don't have a problem with the victuals, the common vic. But I just want to clarify 1559. Is that a convenience store with a market, or is it a restaurant? I don't know if that's ever been really clarified.
Convenience store, he did apply.
He did apply.
It is.
But that hadn't been all inspected and clarified for the occupancy permit for the...
For either one.
Right, well,
For either one.
the pizza shop is history. He took over after that.
Understood, but when he applied for the license, he applied for a restaurant license, then he later applied for a
Convenience store and a
convenience
market.
grocery mart, okay?
Right.
And then, but neither one of those requirements were met under those
Okay.
inspectional services.
Okay.
Okay? So what I'm going to suggest you do, and is that you get with the plumbing inspector, all of the inspectional services, you have 2 of them here. I would get all of your work in order, and then come before us with sign-offs, and then we'll vote on that. All right?
This will be continued till next month.
This is continued until next month.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, good.
Okay, and he will go through the common inspector.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. What is the date of the next meeting? Third Wednesday?
18th.
18th? Okay. So June 18th? So I'll make a motion that the next meeting will be Wednesday, June 18th, the third Wednesday of the month.
We're going to leave this time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I get the communications. Can I have that? Thanks. Okay, sorry. I've got communications. Form 43 from the Massachusetts Alcohol Beverages Control Commission approving a malt and wine restaurant license for RDG Martone, doing business as Figaro's, 425 Revere Beach Boulevard. Form 43 from Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission approving a change of officers and directors and manager of NAI Entertainment Holdings LLC, Showcase Cinema, Chatters Bar. Form 43 from Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission approving a malt wine package store license for Squire Road Station, 174 Squire Road. Form 43 from Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission approving a change of officers, directors for Beachmont VFW, 6712 150 Bennington Street. And Form 43 from Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission approving a wine and malt cordial restaurant license for Make a Thai, doing business as Make a Thai Restaurant, 163 Square Road. License renewals for 2004 is Common Victual, 7-Day Store, Inc., 668 Winthrop Ave. What? Yes, we'll hold off on that one. And Inholder Hotel, Logan Hospitality Associates LLC, doing business as 4 Points Sheridan, Boston Logan Airport. I'll make a motion for adjourn.
I say aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.